Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
It became official about 30 minutes ago. Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States.
So I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
He gave his victory speech around 2 this morning before the race was officially called, and NBC News projecting that he is the winner just 30 minutes ago.
Meanwhile, we're waiting for Vice President Harris to speak a little bit later today, and we are also closely watching all the state and local races. New this morning, who will be the next leader of North Carolina's public schools?
And weather-wise this morning, a little bit of cloud cover out there. We're going to see a real pretty sunrise without as much fog as we saw yesterday. But I'll show you what it will look like as you head out.
A historic night turns into a historic morning and day on our Wednesday here. The first president to be elected as president after leaving office since the late 1800s.
Since Grover Cleveland.
Grover Cleveland. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. A lot to tell you about this morning. WRAL is your election source for election results with everything you need to know since you went to bed last night. Our team of reporters is tracking the big races still up in the air and the ones already decided. First, we will begin with Elizabeth with a look at how our Wednesday weather is shaping up. Elizabeth.
We actually have a really pretty sunrise that's happening here in downtown Raleigh. You can see as we look past the legislative building that pretty glow there. We do have some low cloud cover, and we'll likely see that across our area this morning. 59 is our temperature. Our dew point is 56 as you're heading out the door. Temperatures are certainly running on the warm side this morning. We take a look at visibility, and it's a half a mile in Roxborough. We're not looking at anything that would be fog necessarily, but certainly some low clouds in Clinton, Fayetteville, South Hill with those lower visibilities. And over in Northampton County, they're looking at visibility dropping enough that school is delayed by 1 hour. Your hour-by-hour forecast brings us almost to a record high this afternoon at 82 degrees, and we'll see variably cloudy skies. Our rain chances for tonight start around 10 or 11 o'clock and go up into the early morning hours, but continue into the day tomorrow, and we're going to walk through that on Futurecast coming up. As we take a look at our hurricane, it could be Category 3 moving across Cuba, but after that, it could just fizzle out in the Gulf of Mexico. But we could still have some rain with our cold front. We'll talk about how much.
So right now, as you are waking up, former President Donald Trump is officially the projected president-elect. In the last 30 minutes, he won in Wisconsin. That takes him to 277 electoral votes, above the 270 threshold to win. WRAL's Heidi Kirk joins us live from the Wake County Board of Elections office. And Heidi, Trump spoke just before 2:30 this morning, claiming that victory.
Jeff, that's right. And needless to say, the whole Trump campaign is feeling very positive so far this morning. As you mentioned, he spoke within just the last few hours announcing his victory. And now multiple news outlets have projected that that is official. Now let's get straight to the electoral map and break down some of those numbers for you. As we mentioned, within just the last 30 minutes or so, NBC News projected Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States after winning Wisconsin. You'll see here that former President Donald Trump now has those 277 electoral votes out of the 270 needed to win the White House. Now, Trump has been projected to win 4 of the 7 heavily contested battleground states, including here in North Carolina. Now, the margins were slim here in our state. According to the results from the North Carolina State Board of Elections, 100% of all 2,658 precincts have reported their results. And former President Donald Trump won by about 51% of the vote. Now, as we mentioned, Trump spoke in Florida just within the last few hours, declaring his victory.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
Now, while the former president's win has been projected, officials here at the North Carolina State Board of Elections will tell you that they can't certify those results until about 10 days after Election Day. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Donald Trump had a decisive series of wins in swing states as he won his return to the White House. He held on to North Carolina. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey joins us now. Michelle, it was a big night for Trump in those states where he campaigned so heavily, including our state.
It was, Renee. There were 7 make-or-break states in the election, and North Carolina was one of them. If it was that win in Wisconsin that was just announced in the last half hour that really put him over the top. But if you look at Pennsylvania and Georgia, he also took those states as well. I want to show you what happened in 2020. Back in 2020, those were all of the states that President Joe Biden won in that election. Now, we are still waiting for the results from the other battleground states, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. Trump is holding leads in all of those states right now. And if everything goes as projected and Trump ends up winning all of those important battleground states, he could end up with as many as 312 electoral votes in a landslide victory.
Chris Lovingood here. I stepped away from the Live Center to show you some of the things we're monitoring here, including social media. Elon Musk overnight congratulating essentially President-elect Donald Trump, saying the people of America gave him a crystal clear mandate for change tonight. We also see here the Kamala Harris campaign. I'm just seeing if there's any kind of reaction, but nothing on her feed just yet. We'll be monitoring that. One of our managers here in the newsroom, Martha Jennings, is in the process of essentially clipping together some of the headlines across the United States to give you a look at how media outlets are reporting this. And even France's president, Emmanuel Macron, congratulating him as well, saying ready to work together as we did for years. I want to show you video here real quick before I let you go. President-elect Donald Trump hours ago was speaking to his supporters there ahead of his victory, essentially congratulating everyone who was a part of the process. And he spoke very positively about a return to the White House, which we're showing you one last thing here in the Live Center, as it looks like he'll be returning there for round 2.
New this morning, Mo Green will be North Carolina's next public schools leader. The Democrat leads Republican Michelle Morrow in the race with all the votes reported. Now, WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from the State Education Building in Raleigh. And Laura, we know that Morrow says she's not ready to concede until all those results are in.
Good morning, Jeff. Democrat Mo Green. Yes, he topped Republican Michelle Morrow in the race to become North Carolina's public schools next leader. Taking a closer look at some of the results, as you just mentioned, with all precincts reporting this morning, Green had 51.1% of the vote to Morrow's 48.9%, according to unofficial results from the State Board of Elections. Green's lead was about 119,500 votes. Now, Green, who ran Guilford County Schools from 2008 to 2016, hadn't declared victory just yet. Earlier this week, his team said he wouldn't comment on the results in any way until 100% of ballots were counted. And WRAL spoke with him before the polls closed.
I've been a superintendent. I've led complex educational organizations. My opponent has not. I believe in our public schools.
Republican Michelle Morrow, a political outsider and homeschool mom, left her watch party late last night and didn't concede. Her campaign said that she would wait to see how she fared after more results were in. And as she was leaving, some of her supporters surrounded her and told her that they loved them and that the race wasn't over just yet. Now, I continue to check social media to see if either of the candidates or their campaigns have made any statements just yet. Not at this moment. We'll continue to keep you updated. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Democrat Josh Stein will be North Carolina's next governor. Stein won the race against Republican Mark Robinson by nearly 15 points. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the governor's mansion in downtown Raleigh. Kelsey, both Stein and Robinson talked about the results to their supporters last night.
Yes, Renee, Democrat Josh Stein will be moving in here to the governor's mansion in the next couple of months, and we'll give you a breakdown now of those results. Stein received nearly 55% of the vote, while Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson earned about 40% of the vote. That's the same 15-point margin that was shown in our WRAL News poll last week. Both candidates spoke to voters last night.
We chose hope over hate, competence over chaos, decency over division.
I'm a little disappointed. I'm disappointed for you because I wanted this so bad for you. I wanted this for the people of North Carolina.
Robinson lost support in the final weeks leading up to the election. That was after a CNN report said he made lewd and racist comments on a porn site. He denies those allegations. Stein campaigned on promises to support public schools and reproductive rights. And Stein is now making history as the first Jewish governor to be elected in the state of North Carolina. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Another race that has yet to be called this morning, the race for Congressional District 1. Democratic incumbent Representative Don Davis claimed victory over Republican Lori Buckout just before 2 o'clock this morning. Buckout has not yet conceded this race. District 1 covers most of the northeastern part of the state from the outskirts of the Triangle all the way to the coast.
I'm glad to remain in this fight representing you in the United States House of Representatives, the People's House. And everyone deserves for their voice to be heard in the People's House.
And the Buckout camp issued this statement early this morning. Her team will review the results and, quote, "We will look at all options for getting this over and done with. If a recount is required, we will be ready."
We've been tracking more than 400 races locally and nationally for you. You can count on the most complete election results at your fingertips in the WRAL News app. Scan the QR code on your screen to download our app right now. Make sure you check your settings and enable alerts so you get notifications when key races are called.
10 after 6 right now on your Wednesday. Abortion was on the ballot in several states across the nation where voters came in on this issue, including which state will undo a ban that is now in place.
And all new this morning, he is President-elect Trump, and he will have more power backing him as he returns to the White House. The shift we are seeing in the House and the Senate after this election. Elizabeth.
Not as much fog as we saw yesterday. We're seeing some low cloud cover in places, and Roxborough has dropped down to a half a mile. Northampton County schools are on a 1-hour delay because of fog. I'll show you what it will look like as you head out the door. 6:13, and it's going to be a nice day today. A little bit more cloud cover than we saw yesterday. Of course, we started yesterday in the morning with a lot of cloud cover and fog, and we're not seeing as much of that. Some high clouds in some places, some patchy fog. As I mentioned just a little while ago, Northampton County is under a 1-hour delay for schools because of fog there. Temperatures are in the mid-50s to around 60 as you're heading out the door this morning. And again, some cloud cover out there, some patchy fog. Temperatures will be definitely on the warm side. The kids at the bus stop probably don't need much of a heavy jacket, and it's going to be a really warm afternoon as they get off the bus this afternoon. Our temperatures are likely to be in the upper 70s to low 80s. That's very close to a record. We do have rain in our forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. I'll show you the timeline coming up. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. No major incidents to report on many of our major roadways, but I am watching a slowdown this morning here in Durham County on I-40 East, not far from I-885. I'm working to figure out exactly what's going on. I'll keep you posted in about 10 minutes. Staying in the Bull City this morning, here's a live look at I-885 and Cornwallis Road. Traffic picked up and moving nicely in both directions. If you're getting ready to head out, stick with us on the radio at 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
Voters in 10 states decided whether to protect abortion rights on Election Day. Measures to protect abortion access passed in Missouri, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Maryland, and New York. Missouri will be the first state where a vote will undo a ban that's already in place. In contrast, Florida voters rejected a measure to overhaul the state's 6-week abortion ban. Results from NBC are still pending for Montana, South Dakota, and Nebraska.
Big shift in power is coming to Capitol Hill. Republicans have won control of the Senate. Michelle McConaughey here now as we are still waiting to see whether Republicans will also keep control of the House, Michelle.
That's right, Jeff. But we do know Republicans will retake the Senate for the first time in years. Democrats, they had a slim 51-49 majority coming into the election, but Republicans, they flipped 2 seats in Ohio and West Virginia to give them that number at 51. And there are still a handful of other seats to be decided. Having a Republican-controlled Senate would be a big bonus for Donald Trump. Now, the Senate has the leading role in confirming cabinet members and a new Supreme Court justice if there is a vacancy. If we take a look at the U.S. House, there are still a lot of races to be decided. Right now, NBC News has called About 218 are needed to have control of the House, and Republicans came into the election with a very slim majority.
Michelle, thanks. Janet Cowell is set to become the new mayor of Raleigh. The former state treasurer declared herself the winner after taking a big lead over the other 4 candidates. Cowell brings with her years of public service, holding a number of local and state election positions. She also spent time as the CEO of the Dix Park Conservancy. But she's already focused on stepping into her new role to make Raleigh a better city.
I look forward to working with all of you on the first 100 days, the first year, planning that transition to get really good things done for Raleigh and make it a city that works for everyone. So thank you very much. I'm very honored to have won this race tonight.
And she says one of her top priorities will be affordable housing, something she says she hopes to get started on right away.
6:17, the time right now as we get our mild start to our Wednesday underway. There are hints of sunrise coming as well. With that time change, this is nice to see early in the morning now.
It's a beautiful start here in Fayetteville, isn't it? Just a little bit of cloud cover, some sunshine making for a really pretty sunrise. We're looking at some low cloud cover in spots. There's a little bit of cloud cover there in Raleigh right now and in Apex as well as Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. We're going to take another look at downtown Raleigh. Look at this gorgeous sunrise. More clouds than sun out there, but as the sun is coming up, it's definitely creating some pretty color. And you can also see some fog here, just patchy here in Dix Park. And so that is a possibility, especially in low-lying areas. Not widespread like it was yesterday. When we look at the visibility map, we're looking for a quarter-mile visibility for fog, and we're not seeing that anywhere on the map. But we do see South Hill at a mile visibility, and that's going to end up being some low cloud cover. And in Northampton County, there's enough fog there for schools to be on a 1-hour delay. Let's talk about our rain chances that pick up tonight and tomorrow. It's likely to be light, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch tonight and tomorrow, scattered across the state as a cold front comes through. Here's our front right now. We also have a slug of moisture that's down here. Notice how that's starting to move into Florida. That's going to move in ahead of our front, and both of those work together to bring us rain. Now, you might think, well, that's going to increase our chances, but I tell you, Futurecast just not showing a whole lot of rain for us, even with that batch of moisture coming in ahead of the front off of the Gulf. This is a look at Wednesday, this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, at 11 p.m. A little bit of patchy rain that comes in, and then kind of on and off during the day tomorrow. There's 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Not likely to be a very wet morning commute if Futurecast continues to show this amount of rain, which is not a whole lot, but it could continue on and off during the day. A little better chance tonight than tomorrow at 60%. Tomorrow's a 50% chance. And then during the day, Thursday, just a small amount of rain. It's likely to be much heavier down in Georgia and South Carolina. But again, for us, our southern counties, 1/2 an inch, Triangle 3/4, and then maybe just 1/10 of an inch up near the Virginia line. Let's take a look at what could happen then over the weekend. A second front comes through, and this also will bring us a chance of some light rain. This is Sunday at lunchtime, but during the afternoon and evening, there may end up being some scattered rain. Sunday night into early Monday. There's Monday at 7 a.m. with the potential for some showers, and that could linger into the day Monday, and then finally that starts to move out by Tuesday. Checking Hurricane Rafael, winds at 90 miles per hour now, could become a Category 3 storm, but it is likely to fizzle out here in the Gulf of Mexico. Most of the models just have it dying out here. A few of those would add some rain to our area, but that looks unlikely. Just a small chance of development there beyond that. 69 will be our coolest day. Again, Monday, we may end up with a few light showers for Veterans Day. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. A quiet start relatively, but we are keeping an eye on this slowdown that we're seeing right now in Durham County on I-40 eastbound, not far from I-885 this morning. We're working to figure out exactly what's going on there. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. But keep in mind, you'll be looking at a slowdown through that point. Let's bring you back to Wake County, give you a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Traffic has definitely picked up and moving nicely in both directions. If you're getting ready to head out, tune us in on the radio at 101.5 HC3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle or 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Ken, thank you. Astronauts in space are proving there is no excuse not to vote.
No, we'll tell you how the crew cast their ballots from the ISS. Chris.
Here in the WRAL Live Center, we are monitoring headlines that are coming out, reporting on the Trump return to the White House. We'll get you more on those here in just a bit.
And coming up on Today, Savannah and Hoda lead the comprehensive team coverage of this historic election. Tune in to Today this morning for the latest developments and analysis.
What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Being stuck in space did not stop NASA astronauts Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore from voting.
Ken Smith here now with What's Trending. Ken.
The group posted this picture from space sharing that they voted early for the election. They filled out their ballots on the International Space Station, and the group wore socks that say "Proud to be American" on the bottom of them.
Cute socks, sitting, standing, floating. Just vote. They got it done.
Yeah, the election news also trending this morning. Voters in Arizona were greeted with adorable puppies when they showed up to the polls. The Humane Society there in Arizona brought the puppies to help relieve anxiety for voters.
Those puppy kisses and snuggles, just the way to alleviate any election anxiety, right, when you see those faces. Good call on the rescue shelter.
Well done. Thanks, Ken. Board of Education in the state is considering an upgrade for graduation and transcript requirements. That change would remove the option to offer pass-fail for core courses. The board will discuss the update at its meeting this morning. There is a vote scheduled for tomorrow. They will also consider some policy changes for counties affected by Hurricane Helene. That meeting begins at 10 a.m.
No widespread fog like we saw yesterday. As a matter of fact, we have a beautiful sky across most of our viewing area. This is a live look at RDU, and we're seeing a mix of sun and clouds. Now, we do have some rain on the way for tonight and tomorrow. I'll show you how much we could see.
And Donald Trump will be moving back into the White House, where you're looking live for a second presidential term. We'll be back with team coverage of comprehensive election results from national, state, and local elections.
And that includes the new leader of North Carolina Public Schools, Mo Green, how he plans to lead the schools your children attend.